So good afternoon, everyone. If you're here for poetry, this is the International Poetry Gathering of Monterey. If you're just enjoying the cafe, we'll just be reading some lines over here, and we invite you to open your ears and just sit back and enjoy. This is our last event of a week-long International Poetry Week. So give it up for our We have been riding quite a wave, and we've been going into lots of different venues, but this is like our home. This is the East Village Cafe with owner Ryan Lama, who is always just so grateful to have us here. We're always here the last Sunday of the month. And the international part of this event we take quite seriously. That means we invite people in all languages, all cultural backgrounds, etc. Very inclusive space. And we love to weave languages and culture and just see what happens. It's very informal. But today we do have a guest poet, and then we will have our open mic event following. Also, we have Wes White on the video. So again, I'm Marie Boucher, Poet Laureate of Monterey County. My collaborator in all things poetry, and we've been really mixing it up. This is Rana Isa. Give her a hand for not only performing with me, but also doing so much behind the scenes. There's been a lot of logistics and PR and everything. And yesterday we gave a performance together with English, Arabic, and then our oud player, who's like our new kind of member of our ensemble. So get ready for more music and poetry together. As we continue into the summer months, we will still be around. So it's also important for me to acknowledge that we're on Rumsen Ohlone territory here, and that we're super grateful that we can still be calling in their names and learning words. In fact, my partner, who's Rumsen Ohlone, just received the Rumsen Ohlone dictionary from his cousin, and so we're going to be starting to learn these words. And so language and cultural revitalization is happening, and actually the Abalone Fest is going to be in August, and there'll be a language learning opportunity also. So it's just good to know like that this land is like layered with so many histories, and we have to like be respectful of all peoples and all beings on these lands and the waterways. So we're here to celebrate each other, our voices, to lift everybody up, to create community, and hear all of you. Also behind me we have Caroline and Dale, who are the founders of the Global Villagers, which is another event that meets every first Thursday of the month. Also here at the East Village, this is our home away from home, and they've got some fun lineups for this coming first Thursday of May, which will be all around travel, and they're super fun and kicking it, right? They really like to bring up the vibes. So Dale is actually our featured poet today. He's a retired instructor from Carmel High, who has been very dedicated teaching young people poetry and all sorts of literature for many years, and we're really blessed to have him as our feature today, and then we'll hear from all of you. So without further ado, let's bring up Dale.
Hello everybody, I'm Dale. Let me tell you a little bit about how I got into poetry, because as an English teacher, oddly enough, poetry isn't even in the scope and sequence for English for some reason. There's just a little mention of it in one place. And so for many years when I was starting out as a teacher at Carmel High, I just taught literature and speech and writing and things like that, but we didn't teach poetry. Then in the early 2000s, I accidentally taught some poetry. I was reading some stuff and I really liked, so I started sharing with the kids. And then I said, let's write some of our own poetry. And I created this unit. There was about a 4-week-long poetry thing that they tried 4 different types of poems and things like that. And I had given them an essay right before this unit. And then right after the unit, I gave them another essay. And I noticed a huge difference between the two essays. The second essay had some real voice, real. I could hear the kids speaking well through their writing, and it was sort of a revelation because I've been struggling with this in my teaching of writing. How do I get kids to have voice, real voice in their writing? And so the next year I lengthened it a little bit to 6 weeks, and then pretty soon I was doing 8 weeks, and then I went to a conference and I heard this speaker talk about poetry slams. And you guys know what poetry slam is? Okay, poetry slam. Competition, basically, spoken word book competition. And I thought, I'd like to try that. And so I tried it with the kids, and at the end of that year, the kids were coming to me saying, thank you, Mr. DePalatis, for helping me be confident in my speaking, standing in front of others. When you compose something that's important to you and then you present it to an audience, and in our case it was out on the stage with a microphone in front of judges, by the time they'd done something like that as a sophomore, they had a lot more confidence in themselves. And so I basically, for the last 20 years, have been dedicating most of the second semester to poetry writing. Of course, we still do literature, essays, things like that too. But every Friday we write a poem, and every Monday we have everybody deliver them to the class. And so kids are getting lots and lots of practice at writing. And I tried to find prompts that would just be very open for people so that they could express themselves. I'll give you a couple of examples. One of them was in my house. ... So this poem is called Tea. In my house is a blue pottery teacup made by a student's mother, inscribed on the front, Mr. Deepak. I drink Carico gold tea, dark, earthy from Kenya, sitting on the deck, sun not quite warming my wife and me. Insightful conversation, her teacup, delicate pottery from Korea, steaming Earl Grey, sophisticated, fruity, hummingbird whirs at the bubbling fountain, Santa Cruz and Moss Landing at our feet, the day crystal clear, as the heat from our cups warms our hands. Another prompt I learned from a friend, Elliot Reckovitz Roberts. I'm not sure if you know him, but he was for many years at the Carl Cherry Foundation and come to different classrooms to share poems and stuff. So this is one of his prompts. He said, I learned blank from blank. It's amazing the variety of stuff that comes from this prompt. So here's one called Alaska Nights and Days. Think of Alaska. I learned beauty from Alaska nights. Winter darkness, long nights that last from 2 p.m. to 10 a.m. But winter darkness is not dark. Starlight reflection on snow, and hoarfrost shining in moonlight. The sudden step out of the door to see a white full moon rolling down the shoulder of a blue snow-covered mountain slope. The chill of the air cutting your throat as the scene freezes in your mind. Alaska's summer nights, the opposite. The sun hangs high at 3 a.m. Waking early to sit on the deck basking in warm 4 a.m. sunlight. The chatter of chickadees and breeze through spruce, the only sounds. Hiking late at night in broad daylight, setting foot in places no one has ever been before. I learned beauty from Alaska nights. And here's one more of these that I wrote. By the way, I always wrote all the poems with my kids, right? So if you have students and they're reluctant to write or to speak a poem, the best way to encourage them is just do it yourself. And then you say, I'm doing a poem, you gotta do a poem too, don't you? If I'm gonna do it, you gotta do it. And so over the years I've written hundreds of poems along with the kids, and now that I've retired, I'm sort of going through those poems and editing them, and I've got my first little book of about 25 poems almost laid out with some photography that I've done, and that should be coming out on Amazon. So take a look at DePalatis. Here's another prompt from the I Learned Blank from Blank. You guys all know what beanbags are?
Beanbags.
Beanbags. You know, filled with those little styrofoam things. You know. The beanbag. I learned chess from my father. At first I was slaughtered in 3 moves. Bishops coming from nowhere. What? My queen again? Then slowly patterns began to emerge. If this, then that. If there, then here. Mental mumblings click to find focus. Pawn to king 4, fork is rook, bishop takes queen. Then my father kicked the beanbag. Actually, his foot went into it and the beans started flying all over the house. He didn't like tears.
He didn't like his son.
And then another poem another prompt that came up with some good poems. It's just an observation poem. I'd have the kids just sit somewhere. It might be out in the courtyard. Sit with your paper and just look around and listen and smell and focus in on one sensory thing that happens, and then use that as a starting point for a poem, and let that thing lead to something else, to something else, to something else. So this poem is an example of that. It's called Impressions 2. A crack in the sidewalk gapes. Gapes? What is a gape? Sounds like it's a grape. Grapes fed to me by a goddess slipped down my throat, like honey. Maybe they're from my honey. Hello, my baby, hello, my honey. Barbershop days, full of harmony, sometimes luscious dissonance. That sounds like my voice might crack. There's a crack in the sidewalk. It gapes. Now, one of the challenges that many teachers faced around 2020 was that we were suddenly told you have 3 days to transform your curriculum to completely online for COVID.
That was fun.
3 days. So it was challenging, to say the least. I am an old guy, so I don't know all the things that kids use computers for, ways of entertaining them online. So I had to kind of invent different things. I actually started a cooking video called the Mr. DePal Cooking Show, and kids could watch that for extra credit, and if they made the same dish that I made and fed it to their parents, and took a little video of their parents' impressions of it, they could get some extra credit. And my goal was to get them off their computers, since they were sitting on the computers 6 hours a day in classes, and just to do something different. Their parents actually liked that a lot, because they're teenagers who actually talk to them and give them some food, which was unusual. Anyway, this poem is an impressions poem during COVID. The flickering screen, my ball and chain. The trees and fresh air out the window beckon. But the flickering screen, period 2. The flickering screen, my wife walks by, and I wish I could go outside with her. Period 4, the flickering screen. My back aches, my eyes hurt, I haven't moved my body from this chair. The flickering screen, the screen is covered with black boxes that don't respond when I ask them questions. If they do respond, it's usually, what's the question? I'm glitching. The flickering screen laughs at me. You call yourself a teacher? Ha! All right, this poem is just a poem describing the struggles students have when they write poetry. So it's called The Joy of Words. Students struggle to make meaning, like Marines slog through mud bogs, finally reaching solid land and taking ground in the battle. New ideas like tiny plants sprouting, fragile, needing nurture, or like coals that crave air to burst into flame to consume ignorance. Minds form connections like threads on a loom, each color necessary, standing back and seeing the whole, basking in the beauty of the completed tapestry. Exploring difficult questions like Sherlock, musing, meditating, allowing the mind to seek, knock, and sometimes find. Searching for the words needed to share, chancing upon the perfect phrase, apt, colorful, intriguing. Standing up and speaking aloud, confident, shoulders back, energy emanating, pausing at the appropriate place, making the point. All these are going to be in my book. I got two more. How many teachers do we have out here? Yeah, a bunch of them, okay? Ever had a student who just didn't want to do any work at all?
Oh, yeah.
Ever have a student that you were really kind of worried about because they seemed like they were almost damaged and didn't want to talk about anything, didn't want to do anything? I had a student who was like that. First semester we focus on, in addition to writing and reading, we do impromptu speeches, and we kind of warm them up to feel a little more comfortable standing in front of people. And then we start poetry in the second semester. And this particular student, first semester, didn't participate in anything. She had a hoodie on all the time. You could tell there was earbuds in there. Her turn to speak, she would say, "This is your grade." And she'd say, "I can do it." So all through the semester, I think she got almost no points in the class. She didn't pass at all. So the second semester we started poetry, and something happened. It's called The Disgruntled Student. The disgruntled student slouches in the front row seat. Her head bobs, earbuds concealed by black hood. Another no day, I wondered. No, I won't do that speech. No, I won't write that essay. No, I won't read that book. How would she ever have the guts to stand and speak poetry? Her turn comes. Wonder of wonders. She gets up in front of from her seat, goes to the podium, and begins to speak. Her poem is an elegy to her father's memory. Dead the past 2 years from meth overdose. He nevertheless touched the deepest chords of love within his daughter's heart. She remembers his cologne, Christmas in King City, the prickle of his beard against her cheek, the way he always knew something was wrong when she was sad. She remembers the day they blasted Queen in the car, the camping trip, the pain she felt the day he left. The class sat in quiet shock. I will never view her in the same way again. Poetry has changed my heart. And by the way, the rest of the semester, she did a poem every time, every week. And it was the most waited for poem in the class. Every student was just sitting there listening on the exercise. She talked about her sister, her struggles she's having with different things, and it was just so transparent and real. We got to the poetry slam, which is done on the stage with a mic in front of judges, and she said, "No, I'm not going to do it." I was just so disappointed. I thought, oh, should I win this thing? But then one of my fellow judges said, why don't we turn out the lights?
Yes.
So I said, okay, will you get up there if I turn out the lights? She said, so we turned out the lights, she got up there, and I just heard her voice in the darkness. She came in third place, but it was amazing, and got to do that. So that was one of those teacher ones, I guess. Wake up, so to speak. All right, this is my last one, and it's the title poem of my book. It's called To Chat GPT or Not to Chat GPT. To Chat GPT or not to Chat GPT? That is the question. Is it nobler for the mind to ink the paper with the confused meanderings of the imperfect human heart, or to furnish the audience with the sterile word collections of smart machinery? Should the brain die and sleep forevermore, and by the sleeping of our minds end the thousand efforts that our flesh is heir to? 'Tis a result devoutly to be avoided. To die, to sleep perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For that brain sleep, when computers are the only ones who produce output, must give us pause. It could make calamity of human life. For who could bear the isolation of a handheld device, the pangs of never loving face to face, the insolence of machines run amok, without temptation to make your quietus for bare one? Who would grunt and sweat in the life of ignorance, with the dread of something deceiving us to give up our brains and deliver us to the undiscovered country in which no humanities will remain? And so the conscience must make heroes of us all. And rather than covering our minds with the sickly cast of mindlessness, we should undertake the enterprise of great pith and moment to reject the subtle lure of AI and never lose the name of mental action.
Thank you, Dale. All right, with that introduction to students, and there's some in the house, I just want to remind everyone that we're looking for a Youth Poet Laureate, and you have until April 30th, which is just a few days away, to submit your application if you haven't already done so. And it's for high school, so there's kind of a limited age range from 13 to 19 years old at the time of submission. And so that's going to be a lot of fun to have a new poet laureate. Maya Pop has been great. And yeah, she's just got a lot of presence. So she's finishing up her term and still doing lots of poetry. But anyways, it's a nice boost. So if you're in that category, or you know somebody who could be in that category, invite them. I know we're going to invite Asia up in a moment, but I think I'll just read like one little transition poem, because the hoodie thing is, I have a hoodie.
Hoodie girl.
A hoodie poem too. And it's actually a poem for the youth of this land that I wrote for the Poetry Out Loud event, so for the youth. You're safe here in poetry, under her folds, no matter the color of your skin, identity, or religion. Poetry sees you as you are, your true nature. You're safe here, no need to hide. No matter your native tongue or ethnic origin, poetry sees you in the lunch line, the bus line, so many lines. Even if your words so many lines knows you need to write your own lines. Even if your words lie dormant in soil or caught in your throat, poetry is here for you to help you decide which seeds need more time, which ones are ready to sprout and germinate. Poetry reminds you are river and sea, tall mountain and tree, vast ocean, shimmering. Poetry recalls the young man emerging from his hoodie, discovering passion for creeks, oaks, tree frogs, riding logs, counting rings, spinning lines with a broad grin, while his friend found her voice under canopy of stars, so bright she recognized her own light for the first time under the night sky. She remembered the refrain that allowed her heart to sing again. Poetry reminds, your light is too bright to hide your stories. Be kind as each word emerges tenderly from inside. As you discover your own vision and unique rhythm, poetry sits by your side in the dark, visiting and waiting for that nascent spark, that luminous energy connecting you with everything across space and time. The land awaits your words, so be brave. Share your dreams and imaginings like that pebble palmed in your pocket, once sat atop a high mountain top, till it freed itself, journeyed down river to sea, tumbled back and forth, gently gleaming, waiting for you to sense it, grateful to be invited into your story. That's nice. So that's my invitation to maybe, in case the youth are ready, to join us on the open mic. We're opening up the open mic, so whoever's ready.
I'm ready.
All right.
Hi, good afternoon, buenas tardes, and namaste. In Nepali, we call namaste, and I'm reading the poem tonight. Today evening is like, I left my home. I left my home for 3 times. Once it was when I was in home for 9 months. I left that home from the mother. And then I left the home right now from my father and mother because I'm going with my kids. Because my father and mother grew up and I have to leave that home. Now I'm leaving the home for my kids. So the poem is dedicated to that. It's in Nepali and I'll try to translate in English as well. Ma ghar chhodeko din, when I left my home. Ma ghar means home. I used to sleep till 9-10 in the morning. Ma 9 bajera 10 minutessamma आफूलाई बेडमा भेट्थेँ. I used to find myself in the bed till the 9-10 until and unless I get the punishment from my mother to wake up. Hardly I could see the sunshine in the morning because I was late. I might have seen the sunshine once in a while. Till yesterday, I used to think in that way. अहिले म समयभन्दा अघि नै बिउजिन्छु. Right now I started waking up early than the sun. आँखा खुल्दा नखुल्दै त्यो घरको सपना पछ्याउँछु. By the time I'm fully waken up, I started dreaming the home, not for me, it's for the kids. Even before I'm fully wake up, I run to dream that home. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Anyone, it's an open mic, anyone can.
Namaste. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone who's ready.
Nepali poem. Have you ever heard a Nepali poem before?
No, that's
Give it up. something to share.
So yesterday, the Dale Taught Workshop ended up being a very intimate time, just a few of us, but I think over all these years, I have not taken many opportunities to actually sit under his teaching in school or this kind of thing. So it was really very helpful for me, and I feel like afterwards I talked with him and talked with the group and said, I feel like it released something in me that I'm pretty excited about. So the poem, so no high tech here, just yellow lined paper from yesterday. The poem was actually about something that happened to me yesterday in the break. So in the first part of the workshop, he talked about poetry structure and gave some examples of poems and so forth. And then we took like a 20-minute break, which ended up being probably about 30 minutes for me. I went over to Trader Joe's because I was hungry. I hadn't had breakfast. So I got something, and this is from that experience. Today, I noticed. He sat in the place, as so many do, hungry. Anything helps. An ever-flowing stream, it seems, of human need. Why do so many go hungry in the land of plenty? Why can't we get our systems working to solve this heart-wrenching scourge? People going hungry, not knowing where they'll get their next bite, while billionaires in gilded mansions grab for more. And those with mere thousands look away and say, I don't watch the news. It depresses me too much. Yes, I get that too. How to strike a balance between keeping informed and protecting our hearts and souls. I don't have an easy answer, except to notice. And today I noticed that man, my grocery bag, could I part with $2? Of course. But for a second, just a second, I get too philosophical, too ivory towerish. What if I'm contributing this to the begging problem? What if I'm perpetuating this kind of thing? Then my heart breaks through the confines of my mind. Of course, I have a $2 something nutritious to spare. I roll down the passenger side window. The electric ease of my life, such contrast to his basic existence. I have a little something for you here. Oh, thank you, ma'am. But he can't even come over and get it. He is crippled, like our system. I get out of my car and pass it to him. It is oatmeal, good for you. I look into his eyes. They twinkle just a moment. I will eat it right away. Thank you for caring. Thank you for noticing. $2. It'll hold him for a couple of hours. Today I noticed. Sometimes I don't. But that is where the solution lies. In me, in you, to notice.
Thank you, Carolyn. Yeah, what a revelation, right? Just in the noticing and caring in that moment. It's so easy to not make an action or a gesture. So thank you for your kindness.
I was just at the office yesterday, so on Friday, so I was just writing this up, clean up my hand. So I remember if some of you were there, I said love brought me to discovering the culture of you guys. So it was the Lebanese woman that kind of fell for, but it didn't work out, but we're there. So I was just thinking about her recently. I don't have a title for it yet, but I think I'm going to title it Of Books of Baklava and Beirut. The gift of witnessing her calm. Confident, she stood there, her eyes. The gift of witnessing her calm. Confident, she stood. Her eyes. Her eyes, her beauty of mythology, of civilizations from the land of Del. Her eyes of depth and wit. Her smile of ease, but rare. She stood there, confident in the tree. As I sat in awe of her, no words. Scared and calm, all in one breath. I take her all in. As my breath slowed down, too close to a stop. So I'm going to title this, The Books, Baklava, and Beirut. For those are what I gave her, the books and the baklava, and she gave me Beirut.
Thank you, Shukran. Thank you for sharing your poem and that little piece of your heart. Trish, I saw your hand up.
Hello, everyone. Being here today just reminds me that the most generous thing that we can do is lean in and listen to other people. I'm so grateful for that. So for 8 years, my mother was bedbound and immobile and needed 24-hour daycare. And I have 8 years worth of poems that I'm trying to actually put also together in a book and look at now. She passed away in 2023. This is one of the many poems from sitting by her bedside. Never short piece. They talking to her from up there again. I say, up there, but they feel all around. Don't they know where they are? Why are they behind my chair? In the mirror, at the bed's foot. I don't know that they know where they are. Just that they are here. I say up there because that's where her eyes stay. Watch the wordless whispering ceiling fan. Who's that, Mama? Who's calling your name? The fan is on the second pull, click over her bed. A big sideways rocking, turning bird, shivering the air around, moving time through its blade wings. That's where she looks and looks and listens, and I look too. I know they're here, gathered into the humming word, telling her to come on now. Is it Daddy? I ask her. Daddy, is that you in the turning? Where she stares for hours, eyes like blessed moons, wet in the corners. A tall bottle of agua de florida sits unopened on the crowded dresser. Next to that, the wound cream tube flattened and pressed out from hope. I should break the seal on the bittersweet water, pour some into the floor where every wall meets and becomes next. I should pour out an orange grove rich with cinnamon and clove, rue and rosemary, flood my hands and protect, cover her, but who am I to tell Mama's mama to leave her alone, to silence her sisters, to put lightning out? Is it Big Mama, I ask her? The fan is a mechanical bird set into popcorn plaster, 5 arms that can fly backwards. Little dust bits shake loose and fall like cells of human snow. The dust is bits of us, shed from our living in here. I tell them that we are not done living in here. I don't want them to stop declaring their love to her or playing her memory movies, but they stop trying to pull her wings out of her back. They love her hard from the other side. They want her there, so they are here, beckoning, taking her out of her body, ready to secret her away to where they can touch her again. Not yet. you. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
It's so powerful. Thank you. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing and leaning into that grief that's still here. The pulling out of the wings. Wow, in the room. I had that experience with my mother too, 7 years, and I saw her become the angel in the room. It was like transfixing. So bless you for sharing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just tell that story. I don't have the poem at the ready, but I asked this woman who I had befriended. Her name's Janny. She's a lovely singer, songwriter. She has a harpsichord, and harpsichord, or is that what you call it? Melodeon. What is that thing that just is like honey? It means honey. I think it means honey, that instrument, anyway, whatever it's called, melodia, something beautiful. It's not a harpsichord, it's something melodious and beautiful. And I said, Janny, could you come to the rest home where my mother is and play that thing and sing? And she said, why, sure. And she's got a cute kind of southern accent, and she's like, why, sure, honey. And I was like, that would mean the world to me. And so she played this instrument and she sang, and she said that my mother, who was in her dying days, was channeling her mother, and we all like had a out-of-body experience, and it was like the whole chorus of angels was right there. So yeah, we have to remember these moments, and we are here for a short time, and so there's beauty even in the passing, in the transitioning, that we need to notice and cherish. Thank you. All right, Deb. Is it Deb, right? Welcome.
Thank you. So I'm a teacher too, and I'm their son, or taught their son. So this is a poem that I wrote when my dad was ill and I was flying to from San Diego. So I came up with the draft of this in the airplane. It's called Turbulence. Bumpy air, uncertainty looms, imagining the descent to my death. Always descending, will it be a slow mutation of cells or a drifting driver? Maybe instead we ascend to the world you knew as a child, huddled under the couch cushion tent with Buzz and Woody. When I'm gone, find me in the light of the moon we shared, in memories of pillow fights, bakery runs, and learning the rules of the road and the rules of this life. Magic in the quiet space of the breakfast table, pandemic board games and brown couch TV time. Shine the spirit of that little boy, bright-eyed and playful, unburdened by the tension of the brutal and brilliant world that both breaks us and bathes us in spontaneous joy. I touch freedom above these clouds, for I know it is I who must let go so that you may soar.
Yes? Oh, Peter's ready. Yeah, your notebook. You got your notebook today. All right.
And Japanese too.
I took my Spanish notebook, but
Japanese, Spanish, we got multilingualism here. All right.
Okay, so I've been asked to bring some poems. I've been asked to bring some poems in Japanese before, and so I had to go look some up. This first, you may not see it, probably don't, but I consider myself part Japanese for a long connection with Japan. Went there, fell in love with the place, studied Japanese in school, decided I'd go there, married, and my wife and I lived there for a year and a half. My wife is half Japanese, and I spent 40 years with her mom.
who is from Japan. So I've got a lot of Japanese culture in my life. So I've got a few just haiku here, and just a little bit background of haiku for people who don't know. Haiku are generally supposed to follow some kind of form of connection with nature and sentiments or feelings and something to do with impermanence. And then they have a strict meter, which in my opinion doesn't really work in any other language. But I've got, I'll try to hold this up so you can see. This is bell, so characters in Japanese are fairly complicated. So this is bell. Kane no koi is the voice of the bell. Kane no koi, kane o hanunu, hanaru, from the bell runs the voice of the bell. Oh, I've got it all backwards. Sorry. I wrote them in different orders because in Japan they write 3 different ways, unlike us. They write right to left and left to right, and also across the page like we do. So I told you what this means. Let's start here. This is in the coolness. Shizu shasana ya. Kane o hanaru. Kane no koi. And this means in the coolness, maybe of the evening. The bell runs, its voice spreading across. And it's, for me, this is just beautiful. And for the theme of a bell, oh, and I left something out. Why do I do that? I wanted to bring a picture of a bell that I don't know. How many of you have seen these bells in Japan, the very large ones? They're cast of bronze. They can be enormous. The smallest ones sometimes are maybe a meter in diameter, and they have a very full, penetrating sound that just runs. You can hear it for a very long distance. And the bells that I'm thinking of when I read these poems are bells that are basically the size of this room. I once stood inside one at the urging of my friend when they rung it with a log that is suspended, because you can't ring this bell with a normal little hammer. So they have a big log that's suspended. They pull it back and strike the bell. And yeah. But what was amazing was, at least in my recollection, if somebody else has done this, you can tell me what you think. My recollection was that the bell sounded the same inside as it did outside. Okay, let's try this. Oh, you can't hear that, can you? Can you hear that at all?
Just take the bottom of your phone, because that's where it's
Right. Okay, so I hope you were able to get some of that, but the sound can go miles. And it's a very peaceful sound. People ring the bells at all sorts of times, often during the day and in the evening. So here's one going from the right. Tsurigane on the big bell. Tamarite nemuru has stopped and is sleeping. Kocho kana, a moon moth. So imagine on this huge bell, and with the previous poem, the sound is running off, and it carries. It's penetrating. It's a very peaceful sound. On this huge bell that's not ringing is this tiny moth. just sitting there. So this is one of my favorite poems. It's so short, but there's so many ways to interpret it. And then, sorry, just a little twist. In this time of all the conflict, in my mind I twisted this to also be a similar word for canon. And I imagine they also have these cast canon in Japan. And I imagine the canon sitting there at the end of the day with the same moon moth landing on it, with no understanding or care of what this is or the difference between it and the bell.
That's beautiful. Thank you for the Japanese lesson.
Hi everyone, I'm George, and I'm nervous. I apologize early if I stutter or if you hear my voice kind of shaky, because English is not my first language, so I'm just gonna write this. I mean read. See how nervous I am? So I was writing this poem while I was sitting on that, what do you call that, the aisle. So this is entitled Astronomical Nonsense When You're Kinda in Love. Yeah. I know nothing about space, except, see my hand? Again, I know nothing about space, except that we orbit around the sun for about 365 days. And for me, that's how many times I could write her in my poems. And for 24 hours, I get twice the inhales and exhales I needed, for I have to catch my breath every moment I think about how it would feel when we're finally occupying the same space. I imagine that moment when zero gravity and we float to the galaxy only she and I knows about. But let's face it, that's a bit superficial, just like the love story most writers kept telling that I too have tried. Look, the sun and the moon are really lovers. The moon and the earth are much better partners. Yeah, you see, the moon is the moon is the reason why the earth is alive, the reason why there's an ocean she admires. The call that calls her every so often she'd sigh with the wind and sink away with the waves. The moon makes a good lover, and if I could, I would be her moon. That way she knows we'll always be in sync. Even on days she sees only half of me, and no matter how far apart we are together, I know I will always pull by her attraction. Convinced that I once belonged to her, and the Big Bang just screwed things over, but here we are now. They say, if you squint your eyes enough, looking at the moon, you'll see traces of a map, and maybe that's how she found me. All alone, hastily, casting out words I saw long to never write again. And once, I threw my love into outer space, have it let stay there and wander around asteroids. Not even thinking about the collisions in my bottle, because that's how it always been for me. Love is like a massive body floating in space, and for a moment, it touched, it dramatically drifted away, always hanging in sleeping. But we found each other all on a lonely night, and no amount of bright lights could suffice the darkness that arrived when a supernova of the heart occurred. And that night, one thing was clear: she was there, and so was I. Whew, I'm nervous. You see, I know nothing about space or any intergalactic cosmos, but I sure did I saw a star being birthed by darkness in the distance, and I'm pretty sure most of the facts that I had just told you aren't 100% accurate, but I know this: with her, I can take time, that I can be as slowly as how a man on the moon will glide from one area to another. With her, it's not breathless, I need to breath kind of thing. With her, it's different, good different. It's steady breathing and still. And I know her eyes are filled with the most granite sunrise, just waiting for the right dawn to wake up to, and it can be pretty scary to pull myself out of a universe I have wallowed into, but maybe I'll try one full moon at a time.
Wow.
Can you take me a picture? It's my first time.
That was amazing. And you just wrote that?
Yes, miss.
What is your name?
George.
Give it up for George. That was amazing. And yeah, she's lucky to have you. You're gonna be her moon. All right. So much courage in the room. Who's up next?
My name is Franco, and I'm not a teacher. I'm saying that because I heard mostly teachers here, but I am nervous, like him. I was hoping, and I should not make assumptions, but I was hoping to see more people who might speak Spanish here or understand Spanish. I don't see other people that come on the days, but I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that you're all here. But I'm saying that I should not make assumptions because I had made that mistake before, assuming that people don't understand, and I'm shocked because they do. And I'm hoping that you do, because then that way I don't have to translate, right? Because I'm gonna speak in Spanish. Voy a hablar en español para los que estamos aquí. Sé que algunos hablan, escriben o por lo menos entienden español.
Sí.
Pues bien, bastantes, gracias. Así no tengo que trabajar doble. Can I lower this a little bit? Por favor, I don't want to touch those things because I usually break the deck. Gracias. Thank you. So I'm going to share something that I wrote a couple months ago. Some of you remember I shared a poem called I Am a Poem. That was the title, I Am a Poem. Soy un poema. I didn't think much of it, I didn't really like it, but then a couple of you said that you loved it, you liked it, so then I liked it after that.
That's a poem, man.
But at the same time, I had written something about what I meant. I had already written that because I wasn't satisfied with the poem, and I wanted to write about what I meant. Lo que escribí era Yo soy un poema, lo leí aquí hace dos meses, pero no estaba bien claro qué era lo que yo quería decir. Y yo ya tenía escrito lo que quería decir, pero en ese momento aquí no dije. He leído esto unas veces, pero es la primera vez que lo voy a decir en público, lo voy a leer en público. Simplemente quiero compartir lo que quise decir con ese poema. ¿Está bien? Bueno. ¿Por qué poema? Cuando digo o dije poema, porque soy y siento lo que dice, es porque a veces soy una hoja de un árbol de arce que cae sin tocar el suelo porque vuela y vuela. Y se va, se lo lleva el viento, ese viento que a veces hasta mi alma hela. También porque soy el agua que nace del venero en el que un día tomé agua y sació mi sed, aquella mujer que me dio de tomar de su boca y que resultó veneno. A veces aquella hoja que aquel helado viento me llevaría desde otoño al invierno y me dejaría en otras tierras lejos de todo lo que yo quiero y de todo lo que yo siento. Me alejaba y me alejaba de mi madre, me alejaba de mi padre y me alejaba de ella, de la mujer amada, porque por alguna razón que nadie entiende y todos negamos, me acercaba a otra más amada. Y después ese deseo se convertía en lujuria, de la cual yo ya no escapaba, porque seguiría envenenándome con aquella agua que, aunque parecía limpia y pura, solamente era una celada, una trampa que me hacía caer en un pozo muy profundo, en donde sigo cayendo, en donde aún no encuentro el fondo, y caigo, y caigo, y caigo. Es una caída sin fin, una como esas con las que se siente como que a veces tocas fondo pero sigues cayendo. A veces parece regresar a la entrada del pozo y caes de nuevo. Caes y caes. Tocas fondo y rebotas y se te olvida lo que pasó en el camino y regresas a la cima para volver a caer de nuevo. Sí, se siente como Sísifo, que castigado de por vida por los dioses, sigue con su día, con su monotonía de todo el día, y al terminar vuelve a comenzar de noche y también al otro día. Y así empuja aquella roca que siempre será su compañía, porque al empujar y empujar podría ir lamentándose y podría hasta llorar, pero no lo hace, porque sabe que al tocar la cima bajará de nuevo y de nuevo subirá y empujará para volver a bajar, y así baja y con calma encontrará la tranquilidad. Tanto que hasta al bajar, sabiendo que siempre empujará y subirá y bajará y subirá y bajará y subirá, hasta parece gozar. Surgen entonces tantas metáforas de la vida, cual monotonía me agobia, pero no me aniquila. Porque sigo con la rutina de mi vida tranquila, y así entre altas y bajas, vueltas, vuelos y caídas, vivo el poema de la vida. La vida mía, la que me ha dado mucho y me ha quitado nada, porque nada era mío y solo ha sido una mirada que solo ha sido una pasada. Mi vida ha visto mucho y también ha visto nada. Todo cambia y es igual, y yo solo no me voy a pasar. Gracias. You don't need translation, right? You got it. Good. Thank you. I don't have a translation for that.
Thank you.
I was meaning to just roughly say something about each paragraph, but I'm not going to do that because it seems like you're okay. Right? Gracias.
Gracias por las metáforas de la vida, the metaphors of life. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
My name is Yong Hui, and I come from, well, the other side of the Pacific Ocean, China. And so today, I'd like to share a poem I write in last year, before I came to America. At that time, I just finished the applications, and before that, I had never been away from home for a long time. I feel quite, not prepared, maybe a little scared, but so much curiosity too. And it was 24 at that time of me, so I feel like it could be a new phase of life for me. And here I am, here for 9 months here, and I met a lot of nice people. Really married my teachers, provide me a lot of inspirations, and very useful and nutritious in classes. Things are new, and I was kind of feel like reborn in a new land. So, and also I met a lot of good brothers and sisters here. This has been a very special experience for me. So here, the poem I write is in the format of a classic Chinese lyrics poem. It's composed with the traditional tune called Xijiangyue. It's a form of Chinese poem. So here I'm gonna write about the Chinese version first, and then I also translate it into a sort of English version, but I hope you like it. 西江月，冬日星座，沧海翻腾锦渡，山河依旧坦白，寒风扫尽旧时梦，冬日重燃新烛，荣辱皆归尘土，丹心未改如竹，笑面浮沉挥旧影，天高万里无数。That's it. Then is the Chinese version I composed. Is 西江月, the new work in the winter. The restless seas has tossed time and again, yet mountains stand and rivers loose remain. The freezing winds sweep ancient dream from sight, while winter days rekindle the heart's light. Both fame and shame return to quiet dust, like steadfast bamboo keeps the heart its trust. I smile at life's wild tides, all shadows cease. Beneath the boundless sky, clouds roll in peace.
Shay, that was beautiful. All right, thank you for your patience. You are up. And I know your name, but I forgot. So tell me your name again.
MJ.
Sorry?
MJ.
MJ, that's right. Welcome to MJ.
The poem I'm about to share talks about the Philippines and how they're going through a lot right now. And I wrote this, I think, a couple months ago when it was at its highest. So, for context, we face a lot of flooding and typhoons and a lot of hurricanes. So, the streets tend to be flooded, and since we are third world country, a lot of homes get destroyed and roads get blocked and disease spread. And several times taxpayers or the government would increase tax just to try to fund different organizations to repair these fixes, but it turns out that these government officials just pocketed the money to buy exotic cars and exotic brands from the US. So the poem is called Flooded. Voices cried from cold, shallow waters as the wealthy enjoy the most tender meals in their warm, cozy homes. Voices drowned out by the sound of golden jewelry clinging together and the expensive sound of exotic animal fur from diverse biomes. Not every voice comes from the same background. Not every coin comes from the same pocket, and not every cry comes from the same reason. Excessive rain fills the cracks on the road, fills the cracked roads of the lower class, while the cash flows from the rich just for it to come back. To the upper class, new sports cars driven through poverty. As kids beg for a life they wished taxed by higher beings. People rained the streets, flooded gated neighborhoods, just to ask for a change, a promise to be fulfilled. Police, underfunded, stood in the middle to defend a system that promotes trouble and doesn't defend the people. Till today, we still stand on cold, flooded roads in cracked homes, as Providence sleeps softly, still dry and unsoaked. Thank you.
That's very moving. Thank you. Thank you, MJ.
I'm Asia. I go to Carmel High School. Yeah, I have 2 poems to share today. Maybe 3 if there's enough time, but the last one is pretty long, so I'm not sure.
We love your poems.
I wanted to share this one last month, and then I could not make it to the meeting, so this is a little bit of a while ago, but it's called "It's Taking a Long Time for the Ice in My Cup to Melt Today." It's taking a long time for the ice in my cup to melt today. The wind's love is pushing at the leaves of plants, making them dance and stumble, and I wonder if it all mirrors the way I wait for you. The way a puddle holds the sky like it's something it can keep, or the rushing water stumbling its way down to the storm drain. The sun is warm, but the wind reminds me it's not yet spring, and I've never been one to wear a watch or keep track of such things. How many times have I clutched your laughter to my chest, like I could contain a ray of it between my frozen hands. It drips with contention, it crashes to the ground with the sweet sound of innocent rain. It's contradicting. It's like a flame that burns to ash and grows sweet sprouts all at once in a meshed up, pieced together passage of time. But you flicker like a constant. You rest easy like the eyes of the earth. And in those times when I catch the organic silk ribbons through your carefully formulated mask, I see that you are the air. You are everywhere. Your gentle presence determines the topic of today's little fair. You are the weather, making me think twice about what to wear. You are the suffocating, all-encompassing, confusing, infuriating, necessary onlooker to my writing. And I am the water. The rapid, the calm, the deep. The rain when you wish it didn't, but I can see that you appreciate its beauty anyways. Chaos disguised by rhythm. I am the teller of time with no watch. And I am the observer, the creator, and half the cause of my turbulence. I am the droplets that flow through protesting skies, and together we are the calm sitting above the water right before sunrise. To look at this fog like a muse would be the desired course, but to the brooding mind it is a cold army stopping any forward motion. It's confusion with a face of beauty. It's the shallow puddle of love as a verb, disguising the feeling of feet. But when the wind brushes against the water and melts the ice in my cup, and the plants dance and stumble to the rhythm of love, at the short moment of dawn, when the fog becomes visible and its glittery spectacle is free to the eyes of the world, I find it easy to envision spring, and I feel my love in tears. I spent a lot of time writing that. That's like the most time I've ever spent on a poem. Usually it's just like all in one go. I just like write it all down and spit it all out. But that one I had the kind of concept in like my drafts and like circulating in my brain for a really long time. And then I finally got around to writing it. And it took me a while, and it's probably one of my favorite poems I've ever written. This one is left untitled. I'm not sure if I want it to be called Untitled or if I want it to actually stay untitled. But yeah, it's about how death is kind of a necessary thing that contradicts life. Like the presence of life is there because death. The prompt was a poetry club prompt from a couple weeks ago. It was death. So this is what I wrote for that. We simply can't get enough of it. Ripped lace and broken glass sculptures, it's intoxicating when the moon disappears behind the clouds. I wish for it to come back, but it's ambiguous and only leaves me remembering. I wish for it to come back, but it's ambiguous and only leaves me remembering its light. Moon high in the sky, please take me with you before you die. I want it to take the soul from my chest so I can be as contradicting as wilted white lilies concurrent to freshly bought bouquets littering wooden boxes. It's a quarrel, but a necessary one indeed. It's the angry mother, the infinite contrast, and the answer to life. It is a sin to take the life of a child, yet it is the life that is lost which brings the belief of heaven. It is not beautiful like oxidized copper, it's chipping paint with fading colors. It's the rotten smell of a dead animal pinned to a poster board for the world to see. Tell me that you're afraid of it, for it is this fear that makes freshly baked pastries the best breakfast, and mom's gentle touch feel all that more soft. I don't want to have an unchanging body. The wrath of man has too much demonstrated its hatred for our mother. It's the cities that are rebuilt which makes the fire burn brighter. Moon high in the sky, please take me with you before you die. I am afraid of what I will be if what I am is eternal. I am opposed to what I create if it is permanent. Make me into broken fingers. Crack the spine of my book until its pages are hanging by threads. Moon high in the sky, please take me with you before you die. Play discordant melodies in my final minutes so that I may remember what they sounded like when the air was golden. Carry me to the place where fear runs rampant like vitality, so that I may perish with the stars and know that I have lived during the era of the moon. Wow. So on Tuesday, last week, was the Poetry Slam, the Dale DePalatis Sophomore Poetry Slam at Carmel High School. That went really great. But I had the opportunity of doing a guest speaker as last year's winner and as the Poetry Club president, which was really awesome. And I chose to do my second round poem from last year. It's quite long, but I think it's honestly one of the most epic poems I've ever written, so woo! So cool. Okay, it's called Kleptomaniac.
I remember it now.
Yeah, kind of fits with the theme. We've had two people today write about the rich and poverty, so it works. I am a thief. I'll admit this. Admit to a crime on a stage with no shame in my game. I'll admit it openly to anyone who's listening, to anyone who asks, to people I barely know. No matter their opinion, they'll all agree. I'm a thief. And I mean that simply. In the most simplistic sentence speakable, I take physical things from stores for my own selfish gain. I've got sticky fingers, and I am not remorseful. What are they missing? They've got all the money in the world. How are they going to miss a single pair of earrings? Just one tube of lip gloss. But you know what they will miss? The way I grabbed that overpriced crap piece of plastic tubing and shoved it up my sleeve. The way I slipped the little accessory into my bag as I turned away from the cameras. Just because I want it, you know? It's a 5-finger discount. Who am I to not have it if I want it? Why would I not have it if I can take it? Why should they have it when I cannot afford it? Who should have it if not me if I want it? What are they missing? The $2 it took to produce it? Are they missing thousands of dollars because one girl just wants a lip gloss? Because one girl just wants some jewelry to go with her outfit? Because one girl just wants to look nice? To look put together? Because one girl just wants to match her friends in class? Screw morality if I'm having a good time. At least I'm not just staring at it through glass. But admitting it doesn't stop the feeling when I walk into a store. I can feel my heart in my head. Everything suddenly feels sore. My trembling hands, I'm a small kitten walking into Badlands, awaiting the alarms. I can almost hear already. I can almost foreshadow the handcuffs and the scolding and the judge looking at me like I'm not even supposed to be on these grounds. Like my actions are just the result of my hands, just my habit to want it, my innate desire to grab it. Oh, but just shut it. Just go mind your business and lead me to my easy stores where money pours like easy chords, picking a pocket as large as the cord, checking the door once, twice, 3 times before I grab the necklace like it's a chore. Just go listen to fancy piano that blocks out the cries of third world countries and enjoy tea time using the herbs of people who call them fairies. Go shopping at brands that abuse their workers for more profitable products. Just go look at all the material things and think about how much joy they could bring. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just a thief. The only difference is that when I walk into a store, I'm thinking of all the ways I can make their pockets sore. How can I crumple this up to bring? How can I sneak this into my bag? What do you think I could get with this ring? Where are the cameras in this store? Where are my manners? I'm sorry. I don't mean to be insulting or ignorant. I live the most lavish life ever. It's abundant. I've got food, water, and shelter. The 3 core components. And I've got even more too. I've got a comfortable bed, comfortable clothes, and comfortable space. Really, I've got everything I need. I have all the time in the world. And I've got a clear enough mind to know all this. I can see the big picture that says my time is privilege, and it's more than enough. So how is it that I feel as though I'm on a rolling hill? It feels that I'm running out of my oh-so-precious time. One day, my pockets are going to become black holes. One day, everything I shove in there will become valueless. I won't have any more ground to ask for forgiveness because all of my items will be worthless. But as of now, in my time right now, I can have just as much joy as them without having a full pocket. They're spending $120 on jeans, that's psycho. Oh, but look what I came out of the store with. Can you blame me? I'm klepto. Why would I care about the actions of a hippo? I don't know either. It's not like I live in the ghetto. I just can't throw money out the window. So am I the psycho, or are they living in too much yellow? If you compared me to the top 1%, I'd be inclined to ask if I really am living in the ghetto. If they lived in my shoes for one day, would they drink the water from my sink, lay down in my bed, and think I am so content with what I have? I don't know what it's like to live in Golden Mist. If I tried to say, I'd be missing a bunch of stuff, but you'd still get the gist. My weekend plans don't consist of indulging in material things, but their weekends don't consist of indulging in what I do. They don't know what I do. They don't experience what I've experienced. They don't have my unique collection of knowledge. Yeah, like how to show a shirt in your bag when the Hollister employee's not looking. That same shirt, that's $45, no tax. That's just a credit card attack, you maniac. We're all stealing from someone. I'm just admitting it. While they just sit on it, eating from it like a delicate fig, the fate of capitalism, bought small and sold big. Someone once said, a ruler is only as happy as his most unhappy subject. I know now that this is untrue because thieves like me are still scavenging for food. Am I stealing money from their fat pockets, or are they stealing from mine as I pay for my daily fix of oxygen? I have what I have. I know what I have. Some time has gone by, but still I have my food scraps and my dirty water. I have my shelter of mud. I have my bed of springs. I have demands. I have a clock anticipating rings. And as of recent, I've somehow come into the possession of some things. A pair of earrings, a tube of lip gloss, a bar of soap, toilet paper, feminine products, a head of lettuce, a shred of cheese, all the necessities for living. I knew it. I knew one day I wouldn't be stealing for the greed of my being. I knew one day I would be needing to steal for my stomach, to steal for my well-being. Who am I to not have it if I want it? Why would I not have it if I can take it? Why should they have it when I cannot afford it? Who should have it if not me if I want it? What are they missing? The $2 it took to produce it? Are they missing thousands of dollars because one girl just wants to eat? Because one girl just wants to feel clean, to feel human? Because one girl just wants to match her friends in class? Screw morality if I'm having a full stomach. At least I'm not just staring at it through glass. Oh crap, the alarms are going off. My eardrums feel like they're bleeding. I'm not even supposed to be being here. I need to run off. I'm sorry. I know stealing is bad. Please, I'll do anything. Just don't take me to jail. I'm just a thief, okay? I was just hungry, okay? Just don't take me back. I'm sorry. Yes, I'll admit it, okay? I'm a diagnosed kleptomaniac.
Give it up for Asia. She's got a roll. That hot. That's hot. And thank you for that treatise on capitalism. We needed that. I think we've almost come full circle. Unless there's anybody else over here, I think it's time for Rana to share something.
Yes, Rana. It's just like 5 lines. Come on. It's like simply 5 lines.
Wow,
Asia, wow. I have goosebumps still. Thank you. So yeah, I was in a workshop yesterday, and the prompt was like, talk about something that makes you angry or you think about every day, like it doesn't leave your mind, right? But which was like, and it's still like a work in progress, so excuse the mistakes. I should not say sorry about anything, but yes, I'm telling you, it's just a draft from yesterday. It's past midnight, and this is the beginning. It's past midnight, and images start passing by of same tears, but different faces, of loud silence, of silenced voices, of cries for war, of cries for mercy. A white dome with the darkest soul, shaking hands to shake my lands. When did love your enemy become annihilate? Thank you, this word. Them all. When did the bright stars of peaceful nights start exploding with phosphorus drops?
close us out with a poem that I wish I had written. It's not mine, all right? It's Marie Howe's poem. You know Marie Howe? She's amazing. So I think this one, I just love this because it's kind of just brings us all back together. And it kind of touches on some of the themes we heard today. So first of all, let's give yourselves a big hand for coming out today. Thank you for this beautiful community. This is called The Singularity, after Stephen Hawking. I heard this on NPR and I just about flipped. I had to stay in the driveway and just like, I wish I could have just put it on repeat. So I'll try and do her justice. Do you sometimes want to wake up to the singularity we once were? So compact. Nobody needed a bed or food or money. Nobody hiding in the school bathroom or home alone, pulling open the drawer where the pills are kept, for every atom belonging to me as good belongs to you. Remember? There was no nature, no there, no tests to determine if the elephant grieves her calf or if the coral reef feels pain. Trashed oceans don't speak English or Farsi or French. Would that we could wake up to what we were when we were ocean. And before that, to when sky was earth, and animal was energy, and rock was liquid, and stars were space, and space was not at all nothing. Before we came to believe humans were so important, before this awful loneliness, can molecules recall it? What once was before anything happened? No I, no we, no one, no was, no verb, no noun, only a tiny, tiny dot brimming with is, all, everything, home. Look her up, Marie Howe. I love this poem, The Singularity. Thank you, my friends. I think we are nearly at time, so if you liked what happened today and aren't on our mailing list, we have a mailing list here. We try and give you reminders about our next event. And if all goes well, we might already know our next guest feature. Yes, we offered, and we didn't I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you're feeling it, we might have Trish back next time as our feature. All right. All right. So that'll be May 31st, last Sunday of the month. So we got a little stretch between here and there. So what's up next? May 1st is Labor Day, and there's May Day. Yes, May Day. Yeah, well, we call it Labor Day in the rest of the world, right? May Day, Labor Day, you know. Worker Day. Worker Day. Okay. So check out the socials because there's a lot going on. May 1st, May 2nd. May 1st will be at the Unitarian Church. I got to do something at my campus first, and then we'll be at Unitarian Church from 3 to 6 with poetry and art, and then the next day there's... Where can we find that stuff? Sign up and we'll make sure you're on our list. So yeah,
May 7th, GBC.
Yeah. May 7th.
Yeah. So
you want to say
something about that? Okay, so most of you know this, but some of you don't. We have a group called the Global Villagers Community. It's tied in with IPG. And we've been meeting for about 3.5 years, once a month here at East Village Cafe on the first Thursday of the month from 5:30 to 7:30. It's an international potluck. Some of you have been there. And we change up what we do. This coming one will be on May 7th. We're going to focus on travel stories. So you can bring something to share or just listen. Kind of an open mic, 3 to 5 minutes max. But that's what's going to happen. And then in June, I think the date is June 4th. Can you check on that, please? In June, we're going to do an international marketplace, and we'll be telling more about that. So hopefully we can get that out through the channels there. We also have a mailing list, so if you're not on that and are interested, come see me or Rana about that. Okay?
And we have a hike, right?
Yeah, and the GBC does several things, but the primary things are the international potluck once a month, and then we do a hike the following weekend, which I think is May 17th. Yeah. So there is, right as you're heading out of East Village Cafe, there's little flyers there that you're welcome to pick up to kind of remind you.
Sign up.
Yeah, sign up.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
If you're ever feeling like you need a little comfort and community, you know where to find us, right here.
Yes.
East Village Cafe. Shout out to Ryan and the team. Thank you, everybody, for